Hello and welcome back, everybody. We are back in Exodus, and we are in the wilderness of sin. And I hope everybody is having a good day. Thank God that we're all here, and we're having a good time, and we can learn and grow. The Israelites are out of water again, so they drank it all. And so God is filling the gap of modern day infrastructure. And he said, I'm going to have to put in some plumbing into this rock. Then all the congregation of the children of Israel set out on their journey from the wilderness of sin, according to the commandment of the Lord, and camped in Rephidim. But there was no water for the people to drink. Therefore the people contended with Moses and said, Give us water, that we may drink. And Moses emptied out his pockets and said, Where? And Moses said, contended to Moses and said, Give us water that we may. So Moses said to them, Why do you contend with me? Why do you tempt the Lord? I don't know. Can they not ask for water either? I don't know. Maybe Moses is. Look, maybe. Now I need to play the advocate for the Israelites. Maybe they do just need water. There's a lot of them. And the people thirsted there for water, and the people complained against Moses and said, Why is it you have brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst? And then they say stuff like that. But, right, water. Where's the water? The water is more important. So Moses cried out to the Lord, saying, What shall I do with this people? They are almost ready to stone me. Right, they probably weren't as nice as I was. And the Lord said to Moses, Go on before the people, and take with you some of the elders of Israel. Also take in your hand with your rod, and with you... Sorry. Also take with you your rod, which you will strike the river, and go. Behold, I will stand before you there on the rock in Horeb, and you shall strike the rock, and water will come out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. So he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the contention of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, Is this the Lord among us or not? Which I guess is more of like, watch out in yourself to not say those things, because that would be tempting the Lord. But to say that to anyone, right, is you're tempting the other person with words. It's an ancient spell. How about that? Victory over the Amalekites. Now Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim. This was also wild, that they were just hanging out by their water, right? And somebody came to attack them. The Amalekites. But, I don't know, these may be the guys with the lisp or not, I don't know. I don't think so. I think that might be... I'll have to check. And Moses said to Joshua, Choose us some men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow, and I will stand on top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went on top of the hill. And so it was when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hand became heavy, so they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. And Aaron and Hur supported his hands, one on one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. Teamwork makes the dream work. Isn't that right? He said, I got you, buddy. We are not going down today. With God in our corner. With the power of God and anime on my side. Ah. All you Vine nerds will get that one. So Joshua defeated Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. Then the Lord said to Moses, write this for a memorial in the book and recount it in the hearing of Joshua, that I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven, except here. And Moses built an altar and called its name, The Lord is my banner. For he said, because the Lord has sworn, the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. He said, you are my rival. You're my Joey Wheeler. And Jethro, so 18. Jethro's advice. And Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law. Oh, right. This is a throwback. So, before Moses came back to get the people and he started the family after he killed the guy in Egypt. Okay. So his father-in-law heard of all that God had done for Moses and for Israel his people, that the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. That's crazy that he heard about it. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back. After her 2 sons, of whom the name of one was Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a foreign land. Exodus 2:22. It's telling me to compare. Let's compare it. And she bore him a son. He called his name Gershom. For he said, I have been a stranger in a foreign land. Ah. Okay. And the name of the other was Eleazar. For he said, the God of my father was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moses in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of God. Now he had said to Moses, I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and her 2 sons with her. So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, bowed down and kissed him, and they asked each other about their well-being. And they went into the tent. So they had a nice little reunion. And Moses told his father-in-law all about what the Lord had done to Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, all the hardship that had come upon them on the way, and how the Lord had delivered them. That must have been a mighty tale. Then Jethro rejoiced for all the good which the Lord had done for Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all the gods, for in the very thing in which they behaved proudly, he was above them. He was better. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and other sacrifices to offer to God. And Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. And so it was on the next day that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood before Moses from morning until evening. So when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did for the people, he said, What is this thing that you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit, and all the people stand before you from morning until evening? So if you've ever seen Crepopolis, it's a newer show, but he does it as a king, and he like just takes in the people's wants and needs and tries to like, you know, help them out or reason with them to help them live a better life. And I think that's what he's kind of doing, and it kind of should kind of be that way, right? And Moses said to his father-in-law, because the people come to me to inquire of God. Oh, he's just doing it about, okay. When they have a difficulty, they come to me, and I judge between one and another, and I make known the statutes of God and his laws. Because they're all listening to God, no? So he's acting as like, I guess that's how priesthood started, I guess, right? And the Pharisees were kind of allowed to begin. Oh, it's the root of the Pharisees. Oh no. Moses, what are you doing? So Moses' father-in-law said to him, the thing that you do is not good. Both you and these people who are with you will surely wear yourselves out, for this thing is too much for you, and you are not able to perform it by yourself. Listen now to my voice, and I will give you counsel, and God will be with you. Stand before God for the people, that you may bring the difficulties to God. And you shall teach them the statutes and the laws, and show them the way in which they must walk, and the work they must do. You have to teach them what to do. Teach the builders how to build. Moreover, you shall select from all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And let them judge the people of all times. Then it will be that every great matter they shall bring to you, but every small matter they themselves shall judge. So it will be easier for you, for they will bear the burden with you. If you do this thing, and God so commands you, then you will be able to endure, and all this people will also go to their place in peace. But on the flip side of that coin, right? What they kind of just have to deal with it themselves, which is how they're able to forget. Because they don't have to come to Moses, who I guess they're kind of just in the process of pre-idolatrizing right now by them not dealing with their own problems anyways. And I find that so bizarre that like you can have to ask God for so much. It's like, are you not paying attention to what God has already built and to what is already around you? You should know how it works. You shouldn't have to ask every time. But that's for us, right? To teach and guide other people, I guess. And right, helping people. Don't be a butthead like me sometimes. So Moses heeded the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. So they judged the people at all times, and the hard cases they brought to Moses. Oh no, it was way more. He's setting up like the justice system. But they judged every small case themselves. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way to his own land. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of ideas in here that are starting, right? This is so early on in, like, I would say, not that these ideas don't exist, but when you see these ideas, right, around, you should think to yourself, where does that come from if you don't know, you know? And it doesn't, just because you get a different seed, doesn't mean that you can't get back to the original either. Like, the idea of what they're doing, I guess, started in this time, but they were already doing that in Egypt, you know? So, and they already had that. So it was just them creating it in them their nation. But you can also use that information if you have a family, right? That's how you should rule your family and like guide them in that, like the father role, right? So that's why, right? Your father-in-law came in. Your dad's supposed to give you advice. He said, "Son, you're gonna be burnt out. You should do it this way." Thanks, Dad. But things worked out in the end, right? We will get back. We are now past where we were before. But it's good. I mean, listen to people, talk more. You know, talking about like allowing for the passage of time. But like, in a way, God is really time, right? Like, the Big Bang is everything, right? But nothing would have happened if time wasn't there. So if time is like just part of God, right? And if you allow for the passage of time, you can allow God to do things. But if you're constantly, unless it's required, right? Part of God's plan, it's out of your hands. No, thinking too much. All right. Everybody find some peace. Have a good day.